I make it a point at least once during basketball season to go to Cedarville, mostly to watch basketball, but also to catch the Pirate Pep Band.
You're watching the River Valley Report.
I'm Leland Barclay, and this is the River Valley Sports Report, where we highlight area teams, athletes, coaches, and even pep bands. With winter weather blanketing the area over the past few days, we still found plenty of basketball last week before it rolled in. The Cedarville Lady Pirates won a thriller last week over Hackett, with Rose Lalonde making a steal and converting it into a game-winning layup at the buzzer for a 45-43 win. In the boys' game, Hackett broke away from a slim 41-35 lead near the end of the third quarter for a 59-40 win over the Pirates. Matthew Garner hit 2 free throws, and Eli Slavens added another one as Hackett took a 44-35 lead into the fourth quarter. The Hornets reeled off 9 straight points to open the fourth quarter, with Hayden Foster scoring 3 baskets during the run. We talked with Hackett head coach Kent Elmore after the game, as well as Slavens, Hackett's high-scoring guard who went over the 1,000-point mark for his career 2 weeks ago.
I mean, we let 5 destroy us. Kind of challenge our guys at halftime to, stop the interior presence from number 5. And when we shut him down, we did a pretty good job. Getting to the rim, we settled way too much in the first half, shooting 3 corners. My guys were smart. Paris, we shot 20% from the 3-point line, so you're not going to win many games like that. I don't think we shot much better tonight, but we got to the free throw line in the second half and knocked out some key shots when they mattered. So, a win on the road in this conference is always good.
I feel like I play with rhythm, play with my team, play with my boys. We like to take care of business because we love playing with each other, and I do my thing. Everybody else comes together and works together, and it's all about being a family, and I love it. It was really personal for us because we beat Elkins, which is ranked number 2 in the state, and for us to lose to a team with a losing record, it upsets us a lot, and it upsets for our coaches, and we bounce back heavy. We've had the best practices, The
win kept Hackett tied atop the top spot in the 3A4, along with Boonville and Charleston, all of which are 4-1. Cossatot River is close behind at 4-2, so the final month of the regular season will be an exciting one in the 3A4 before the district tournament, which will be held at Hackett. Another competitive race to keep an eye on is the 5A West, where Van Buren and Alma won key games last week and now share the conference lead with 3-0 marks. Alma went to Russellville and knocked off the Cyclones in impressive fashion with a 59-46 win on Friday. The next afternoon, Van Buren was also impressive with a 77-61 win at home against Mountain Home. Alma, Russellville, Van Buren, and Mountain Home were all 2-0 going into those 2 games. The Pointers hit 10 of their first 11 shots on Saturday and led 23-11 after a quarter. Van Buren led 39-28 at the half and scored 22 points in the third quarter for a 60-46 lead going into the final quarter. We talked with Van Buren head coach Brad Autry after the win.
I'm ecstatic at how our guys came out. I went to them several times before the game. The last 2 or 3 days, it was tough when you got to shift a game from they're ready to play Friday, we go to Saturday. But for them to show up with that kind of mental and physical intensity and toughness, incredibly proud of our guys.
Yeah, you came out, I think I've got you down for, you hit 10 out of your first 11 shots.
That's not bad. That's not bad. We do that consistently, we're going to be in good shape.
They outscored you in the second quarter, only by 2 points, but then you came out in the third quarter and put up 23 more.
Yeah, think about that. The way we started both halves kind of carried us through the last part. Now, we didn't go deep into our bench today, not because I didn't want to, but because I felt like we had good rotation and good rhythm with the guys that were on the court. And for them to fight through a little bit of fatigue and continue to battle on into the fourth quarter when it was 12-13, I thought it showed some mental discipline and some physical toughness as well.
Van Buren was scheduled to visit Alma on Tuesday, but the winter weather has pushed that game back to January the 30th. In the 6A West, Tuesday's games were all rescheduled for Saturday, with Southside hosting Rogers. Weather permitting, all games scheduled for Friday will be played. I'd like to welcome Walter Woodie, local sports historian and all-around fine fellow, and also the very neutral Walter Woodie.
We'll go ahead and show off the south side, and we'll show off the north side there. So
it's about a fourth of the way into the season, 3 weeks into the conference schedule, and we've already got a pretty good idea about some things, especially, Walter, how about the 6A West girls?
I mean, you've got 4 teams at 4-1 and Bentonville at 3-2. I think we've seen in this early start, we're kind of seeing right now who are the top 4 or 5 teams in the conference and probably going to be the top 4 or 5 teams in the state tournament. But yet, even at the bottom, when you have 3 teams that with a win, those teams are going to be fighting for that, or probably fighting for that 6th spot.
Well, and you look, of course, those teams are Northside, Springdale, Harbor, and Fayetteville are all 4-1, and then Bentonville is 3-2. Fayetteville has beaten Northside. Northside's lone loss is to Fayetteville. Fayetteville's lone loss is to Springdale. Springdale's lone loss is to Bentonville. Springdale Harbor's lone loss is to Northside. And Bentonville's lone losses are to Northside and Harbor. So, I mean, it's like, who knows?
Right, and you've got, and with some of the games this week, especially Springdale and Springdale Harbor on Friday, Springdale hosts Northside on Saturday. We're going to find a lot right there about Springdale. If they can, just a split would be strong, would be pretty solid, and a sweep would probably give them control of the conference race. But losing both of them could put them behind the 8 ball.
Well, and all of those games were close, which probably means that, again, I know it's early, but even the points, the margin of victories is going to be important as well. And
also, from a longer term standpoint, the more competitive this is, the better it's going to help them toward the state tournament, getting ready, because, in the Central is probably a 2-team race between Conway and North Little Rock. North Little Rock's already won the first meeting. They'll meet sometime into this month or early February. So the goal is for these top 4 or 5 teams is to be competitive, be strong. If someone breaks out, great, but to show some balance that'll get them ready for the state tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting, of course, weather permitting and how games are bunched together, which this week we're going to have games on Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Right, but the thing is, the good thing for Bentonville and Bentonville West that are scheduled to play on Thursday, they're not playing 3 straight. Neither one of them playing 3 straight days. One's going to play Thursday, Friday. The other one's going to play Thursday, Saturday, and then the other 7 teams are going to divvy up the Friday and Saturday. So everybody still will get in 2 games that week instead of 3.
Well, and 2, we talk about the margin of victory and the point system, but also the games at home. With these teams bunched together, it just makes the home games even more important, which makes Fayetteville's win at Northside very big as well. Big.
And they'll rematch sometime into this month or early February. I think it's early February, and somewhere along the line, there's going to be another team that's going to win a road game. As Ricky Smith has said for years, sometimes we don't appreciate it, but road games are special. Winning on the road is a special thing.
The boys is so opposite of the girls right now in the 6A West. Harbor and Fayetteville, I think, have separated themselves at this point. Do you think?
Yes, and they've beaten pretty much some of the teams underneath them. They've beaten, and not just beaten them, but handled them pretty well. I know Fayetteville beat Springdale. Harbor and Fayetteville are unbeaten. Springdale and Bentonville are both 3-2. Fayetteville has beaten Springdale double digits. So I think those 2 teams have separated themselves with the rest of the conference.
And both of them are 5-0, which makes now the middle part of the boys the interesting one to watch.
Right, and I was also going to mention, if I'm not mistaken, that Harbor and Fayetteville will make up their game Saturday night, which will be a pretty big showdown. And but yes, you're right. The middle class, we'll say, of the 6A boys, we'll go ahead and throw in Bentonville, Springdale. Southside with 2 wins is still in the hunt, and then there's several teams with 1 loss that I think are going to start playing each other, and you're going to start seeing how those teams sort out themselves as we're getting near the end of the first half of the season.
And normally we would say, and it looks like it's going to be this way going forward, but normally we'd say the top 6 of 8 go to the playoffs.
Right.
In the West, it's 6 out of 9 because of the rearrangement from 2 years ago to move Northside back into the West where they belong.
Right.
But that also means now an additional team is left out of the state tournament.
Correct. Whereas in the Central, they have 7 teams, but they also get 6. So I know some teams have somewhat not been real happy about that, but that's out of their hands. That's a vote by principals and a decision that was made of who goes to state tournament.
Well, and going forward, you go back to the girls. Out of that log jam, who do you think emerges?
Boy,
because you've seen more 6A West basketball this year than I have.
I want to see. Rogers and Rogers Heritage have a makeup game that they've got to make up in a few weeks. That was supposed to be played last Friday, and that was the only game that did not move up to Thursday, and they couldn't play on Friday or Saturday last week. So my gut would tell me Rogers, but I mean there's still a long way to go. I mean. Southside has lost to both Heritage and Rogers High, so they've got to figure out ways to. If they want to be in that mix, also they've got to beat those teams in the second half.
What about in the girls?
Kind of the same situation because it's Rogers High, Rogers Heritage, and Southside all with a win. And so. Where are those teams going to fall in? And again, I think Rogers might be the best out of that group, but once again, if a team like Southside wants to play into it, and I also failed to mention on the boys' side, we still can't forget Northside. I mean, Northside beat Bentonville. They had a chance to win at Rogers. They had a chance to win at Southside. And fell just a little short, so they're not that far away from actually being 3-2 instead of 1-4.
Let's go to the 5A West, the girls. At this point, even though we're just 3 games into the season, 2 games for Greenwood into the 5A West schedule, Greenwood, Mountain Home, and Russellville looks like they've kind of separated themselves as far as the girls too.
And of course Greenwood, defending state champion. They've got a lot of players coming back, a lot of players with experience in the Coach Reeves. Their confidence is a big difference with them. I mean, teams go, we're playing Greenwood, and there's a little bit of that going on. But Greenwood, again, every time they've been given a challenge, they seem to answer it.
Well, they were up 18-3 at Russellville.
Mm-hmm.
And then Russellville outscored Greenwood each of the next 3 quarters, forced overtime, and actually took a lead before Greenwood was able to win that one. And from what I understand, Mountain Home is just as good as Russellville. So that may be a conference race as well.
It could be. But, once again, when it's time to get ready to win that conference championship, and we've seen the state tournament win a state championship, Greenwood's always been able to answer the bell.
In the boys, I think it's pretty easy to say at this point that Alma has made the biggest impact early by winning at Harrison and at Russellville. That's 2 big wins, 2 big road wins for the Airedales. Them and, of course, Van Buren both are 3-0. Their scheduled game, the big showdown that was going to be for the league lead on Tuesday night, was snowed out. It's going to be made up on January the 30th. But there's still plenty of basketball left, obviously, in the 5A West. Russellville, Mountain Home are good. Harrison's 0-2, but I don't think anybody's going to count them out yet.
No, and Van Buren's got a big game against Harrison, and Van Buren, now if Van Buren was to win that game, they could really put Harrison in a bind. But it's hard to start 0-3 in any 14-game conference schedule and still qualify to make the state tournament. So but if Van Buren wins that's a big win going forward. A 4-0 start, it will be hard not to make the state tournament.
And that's Friday night at Van Buren, which is also a big game for the Lady Pointers, who had the way the schedule fell. They got to play Greenwood and Mountain Home in the same week.
Yeah, that's just a tough gauntlet for them. But if they could find a way to beat Harrison, they could get right back into the conference race, and if nothing else, have a critical step toward qualifying for the state tournament.
That brings us to the weekly segment, Gimme 5. These are the top 5 performances of the past week in the River Valley. Number 1, we start with the player of the week, Hackett forward Hayden Foster, who scored 20 points, yanked down 17 rebounds, and blocked 2 shots in a 59-40 win over Cedarville on Thursday. In a loss to Paris earlier in the week, Foster had 19 points and 13 rebounds. For the season, Foster is averaging 16 points and 14 rebounds per game. We talked with Foster after his performance against Cedarville on Thursday.
I mean, we started off slow in this game, and we came back in the end, but Paris was a rough game. It was back and forth the whole game, and that was the big win needed to get back on track.
Man, tell me about your game. I think I had you 17 points and 18 rebounds. Were you feeling good tonight?
A little bit,
Is that kind of a normal game for you? I mean, is rebounding your strength?
Yeah. Over the summer, I did a whole bunch of plyometrics and sand workouts, and I got my bounce up, and I started doing a whole bunch of rebounding, and that's just part of my game though.
Number 2, Alma's Camden Courage scored 16 points to help the Airedales to a 59-46 win at Russellville on Friday. Easton Boggs added 15 points and 5 rebounds, and Israel Towns Robinson scored 14 points.
Number 3, Glavin McDonald scored 28 points, a season high, to lead Van Buren to a 77-61 win over Mountain Home on Saturday. McDonald was one of 5 pointers to score in double digits in the win, with Trenton Cooley scoring 14, Drew Braswell 13, Jackson Cazell 12, and A.G. Denton 10.
Number 4, Allison Edwards scored 10 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and doled out 2 assists in Mansfield's 58-16 win over Johnson County Westside on Friday to keep the Lady Tigers undefeated at 17-0. Kinsley Ward added 20 points and had 7 steals. Kaylee Ward had 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And Harley Fuller scored 11 points and had 5 steals.
Number 5, Lindley Garrett hit a school record 7 3-pointers in Booneville's 41-32 win over Danville. She finished with 23 points and 8 rebounds. There's still time to pick up Sunday's River Valley Democrat-Gazette, which is available all across the River Valley, including Eastern Oklahoma at Walgreens, Harps, Come and Go's, CVS Pharmacy, Casey's, and Walmart.
You can subscribe online at rivervalleydemocratgazette.com/subscribe or by calling our customer service line at 479-684-5509.
Be sure to follow the River Valley Democrat-Gazette Twitter account, as well as mine, Walter's, and Harold McIlvain's, as well as Henry Apple's and Graham Thomas, for updates all through the basketball season, including those that are weather-related.
You can view and purchase photos from our award-winning photographers that can be seen and purchased on our website, rivervalleydemocratgazette.com/photo.
Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to wrap up this week's River Valley Sports Report with videos from Van Buren's game against Mountain Home on Saturday and Hackett's games at Cedarville from Thursday. I want to thank Walter for joining us today for the update for the conference season. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.